Don't use love ever in a negative way when you're mad at somebody. You can say like, yo, dipshit.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you probably shouldn't do that one either.
Welcome back to the Harley March podcast, Old Dog New Tricks.
We just got back from the mountains of Montana.
I see you haven't taken off your cowboy hat.
Well, actually, I saw you were wearing your swag that you got, the merch.
Yeah.
The merch from Under the Big Sky. And so I quickly ran and put on my bolo I got from Whitefish, Montana. And I got my cowboy hat on too. I thought we were just living the dream a little bit longer. I look good in a cowboy hat, and I just thought if anybody actually watches our podcast, they should actually check it out.
You do look good in a cowboy hat, for sure.
It's El Natural.
Well, I have a subject I want to talk about today. Did you want to talk about Montana at all first?
Yeah, Montana was amazing. You know, I'm from beautiful Bend, Oregon, and I thought that was the most beautiful place I'd ever been. And now I'm realizing that camera's on me, and you just picked my nose.
Most people aren't watching the video.
Well, if you're not watching it, she just literally just reached up and picked something out of my nose. But Whitefish, Montana, there's a lake that people wake surf on. And right from there, 5 minutes up the road is the mountain that people ski on. And 5 minutes from there is the town. It's like everything is right there. And the people were happy and healthy and great. And everything about Whitefish, Montana made me want to go back time and time again. And then there was a concert on a big ranch with rodeos and country music and wonderful people and barbecue.
Mini horses.
And mini horses and big horses and cows and wild
baby
horses
goats.
and elk and deer. And it was just amazing. So, yeah, it wasn't much fun.
He went there and he fell in love and he's like, oh, I want to open a restaurant here. I want to buy a ranch here. And I'm like, well, we have a lot of cities to check off. I want to go to Big Sky, Montana. I want to go to Bozeman. My friend just got back from Wyoming and she saw a moose and a bald eagle and all these cool creatures. So there's a lot of places to go.
I mean, you watch enough Yellowstone, you just got to go for it. And that's who was there.
Yeah.
Luke Grimes from Yellowstone was there. Casey was there. Casey was standing right behind me. We were in the VIP section. Casey was standing right behind me, and I was like, "Oh man, I am totally gonna get my picture with Casey." Send it to my brother and my mom. They'd be like, "Oh my god!" And anyway, I'm walking towards him. I'm feeling good. I got my cowboy hat on, and right there, this guy cuts me off and goes, "Hi, hey man, well, he wants to be my friend." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm not gonna be an asshole." So talking about town life, what's going on. My friend Connor and I are talking, and corner of my eye, Casey's gone. Casey's gone. So,
Fucking A, man.
Fucking A. I didn't get my picture with Casey. All right? Everyone's favorite person. I mean, Rip's fucking cool, but Rip works for Casey. Let's just be real, you know? All right. I'm so excited to hear your subject. 'Cause
Okay.
It's not often that you come with a subject. I mean, you do, but I always didn't have one.
No, I have subjects all the time. Where do you think most of our topics come from? My subject is what to do when you can't stand your partner and you're on vacation.
Oh, God. Okay, so my subject was very, very similar to this, all right? So I put the cowboy hat on, actually, because I wanted to be Cowboys Don't Cry. But I'm not going to cry. Yeah, 100%. I was going to say, what do you do when the one you love the most is fucking driving you crazy? And we do this podcast, and I think for a lot of times we post pictures of us smiling and laughing.
Yeah.
It's fucking all not roses and butterflies, my friends. Like, you know.
But if we post those pictures where we're smiling and happy, we're happy with each other. If we're really pissed off, we're not like posting smiley pictures trying to pretend.
No,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't take pictures when we're not happy.
No.
So last week when we didn't post any pictures, let me tell you. Let me tell you. All right, take it away. I want to know what your thoughts are on this one.
I have this thing where I like hear couples that have been married forever. And they all refer to these like rough patches they've been through. And this is definitely not one of those in the extreme sense. It's not like where we're like, oh, we're going to break up. We can't be together. But I always thought about that. I was like, well, are we going to hit a rough patch? Is there going to be a time where it's like an extended period of time where we're not getting along? And this is like a speed bump rough patch. It wasn't huge, but I'd say for like the last month, and not to throw anybody under the bus here, but pretty much since Brian quit nicotine cold turkey, we've been fighting more than usual. And they've been he's just looking at me with the blankest stare. One of our issues in our fights is that
You want to know what makes me want nicotine? I mean, I would chew on a tobacco fucking plant right now, just like nah, 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 nah. I need like serious like well, it drives me to smoking. You know what?
what does?
Just the stress of us not getting along. They had a Zen tent at under the big sky, and I was like, oh shit, maybe I think it's free. I mean, they're getting people addicted for free. I mean, like maybe I should just go have a little taste, just make sure I really gave it up. I
No.
didn't.
We
The
lo-
line got bigger every fucking day. It got bigger and bigger.
Well, we
and
looked it
bigger.
up, and Zyn was purchased by Philip Morris. I don't know
Of course,
when.
I said that. I said I
Yeah.
guarantee
But
if you look this up.
everybody knows Philip Morris is corrupt. Like, they've always been trying to get people addicted
Hey
to their
kids, have some smokes.
Yeah,
They're
so-
so cool. They look good. Put them in the Hollywood movies. Yeah.
Yeah. Brian quit nicotine cold turkey, I would say about 3 weeks ago now.
It was on the 4th of July.
Yeah,
Independence.
and for about 3 weeks, we've been getting into fights like every 2 or 3 days. And
Yeah, but I don't think it has anything to do with nicotine. I think somebody just got a bad attitude. And that's not me.
I think that it has a little bit to do with that, not entirely. At the same time, my dad hurt himself, and I got very stressed out about that because it was like I've already lost a parent. I was like facing the mortality of my second parent, and
Sure, Hal doesn't appreciate you saying that.
won't appreciate me saying what?
Facing the mortality of my other.
He's 76 years old, and he, hurt himself
I
significantly.
mean, let's just be real. Hal, we're all facing our mortality.
Yeah, we all are. I mean,
Danielle almost fell off a couple cliffs in Montana, and she didn't even know it. Like on that when we were riding those e-bikes up that mountain, like had a bear come, I would have been okay.
and see, Brian goes to the extremes. Like, I don't even want to know the thoughts that he had in his head when we were fighting. But it is what it is. Anyways, so I was a little bit more stressed because of that. It's like when you're both like lacking resources, I think is when these fights spiral out of control and something that is small becomes something big. And our like couples therapists that we only see for those kind of immersion sessions always talk about that, like, if you're fighting, each person has some responsibility in the dynamic. If it turned into a fight, you both lost your center at some point. If one person is able to keep their center the whole time, then it doesn't become a fight. Which sometimes I was like, are you sure? Have you met Brian Malarkey? Because there were some times when he would really like spin out of control. And I was like, I don't know if this is my fault at all. But they encourage you to take responsibility.
See, I think that's everything in a nutshell. Not quite sure what that means in a nutshell, but a nutshell is small, and you just put everything in there. So I would think in a nutshell should be a larger thing, like in an empty pool. You just said it going, I think it was all Brian's fault.
No, it used to be all your fault. You've gotten better. Even in those times, apparently, I had something to do with it too.
Apparently, see, still not taking ownership.
No,
everyone.
I'm not talking about our recent fights. I'm talking about before you met your inner child.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm so confused. Anyway, so for the men listeners, all two of you out there, if there are any of you, see, we're getting shanghaied here again. We're getting she's stealing.
In a nutshell, if you guys are in a fight, if you're in a fight with your significant other, you both have played a part in it, and you both need to take responsibility to resolve said fight.
I like that. It's a win-win. It's a lose-lose. It's a lose-lose situation.
Yeah.
We both fucked up.
Yeah. And I think that was part of our issue and why these fights would spiral out of control, because we both like to be right and we both like to win. And usually we win together and we're right together. But sometimes if the gears are grinding the wrong way, we don't see ourselves on the same team, and one of us is trying to win, one of us is trying to be right, one of us is trying to make the other person wrong. Or we both get into that dynamic, and then instead of being happy and in love on the same team, we're trying to prove our point to the other person, and then something very small becomes something big.
Agree.
Yeah.
I mean, we've already kind of gotten through this. If you had talked to us about an hour and a half ago, 2 hours ago, we wouldn't have resolved this quite yet, because that, I think, is exactly what it is we have both made errors. But up until an hour and a half ago, we were still making sure that the other person knew their errors were more.
Yeah.
Your errors, yeah, I may have made some mistakes, but yours were so much bigger. Yours, and we both did that.
Yeah.
Most of the time in life, I love win-wins. If you're in a business situation, you're talking to a landlord, an investor, or a business partner, you're like, let's just make this a win-win. One of us doesn't have to win a whole bunch and one not win very much. Let's just both win. I don't need everything. I just need a solid win. Win-win. Win-win. Well, in fights, sometimes a win is a lose-lose.
Yeah. That's very
Like,
true.
hey, I fucked up, you fucked up. How many fights continue after both sides say, yeah, I fucked up and I'm sorry? That defuses everything.
Yeah.
Most fights are constantly pointing fingers at each other, going, no, you did this, but I know I did this, but you did this. Your wrong was bigger than my wrong.
Yeah.
I may have done a wrong, but it was the wrongs, so they never balance out. So we did that on and off for the last 2 weeks now.
Yeah. And it was exhausting. I just woke up this morning and I was like, this should be a very happy time in our life. Like, we really don't have, obviously, Brian has his business stressors, which he will always have. And, there's always things going on with the kids, but this is a very happy time in our lives. And I don't want to spend it feeling stressed out for literally no reason. None of these fights are anything significant or important.
No.
And at the end of the day, we both know that we love each other and that we want to build a life together. So why are we trying to win against the other person and make the other person feel stupid or wrong? So this morning I was like, we should go see Regina and have a session. And then we
I was hoping it was an immersion session. I was like, oh, what? We're going to go get high and talk to Regina, And she's like, no, not a one like that. So,
and Brian was open to it, but then we're kind of rehashing things, trying to talk about it, and then it was just becoming more heated. His session with Regina that I was going to join in on isn't until Monday, and I was like, well, I can't live like this until Monday, so you and I have got to figure out our way through this. Brian leaned in, and I leaned in, and essentially we were able to have the same kind of conversation yesterday, but instead of the blaming, we each took responsibility for where we screwed up. I was like, when you told me that you didn't want to talk about this right now, I should have listened to you and I should have backed off. I shouldn't have doubled down and said what I was saying. And then he was like, I'm very sorry for how I overreacted and how, I was having a stressful day. Like Mondays after being out of town for so long, I just feel the stress and the pressure to catch up. And I felt like I had just barely made it through my day without getting overtaken by the stress. And then you were the straw that broke the camel's back.
It was that she said, let's go take a walk. And I was like, oh my God, I just got through my day. We've been gone out of town for a week. Mondays are always a lot of pressure. And I haven't seen the kids for a week. And I'm getting to see the kids and I'm picking them up. And I'm just like, oh my God, so many spinning things. And then all of a sudden at 5 o'clock, she's like, hey, let's go for a walk. And I'm like, yes. I made it. That's great. Let's go have a beautiful, relaxing walk on the beach. And then immediately that's then her time to then address her issues. And I was like, whoa. I thought this was happy-go-lucky walk on the beach, not let's keep talking about things that aren't quite right and what we need to address right now. And my brain melted.
Yeah, it did. And I think what makes it hard for me is when the brain melts and then he goes into attack mode, which I own up that I started. Like if I hadn't brought this up, we could have just had a nice walk. But then you both get angry at each other and you both kind of see what the other person is doing wrong. But what really helped me forgive Brian this morning and be like, okay, I can see my fault in this and your fault
Real quick
was
though, let's be honest, she did not forgive me this morning. All right.
because he didn't apologize.
See, I got up this morning and go, let's have a great day.
And I was like,
And I
that's
looked
so
at-
fucking dismissive.
And I looked at her, I was like, we're not going to have a great day, are we?
No, because he didn't apologize last night and he very much overreacted and was mean to me. And I
Loose
apologized.
translation of what mean to Danielle is, okay? I come from a very...
No, I will tell you exactly what it is. It means on our walk, getting mad at where I'm walking, telling me where I need to walk, walking ahead of me and not next to me, refusing to have
See,
a
we're gonna get
conversation
right
with
back there,
me.
everybody. Stay tuned. This is gonna get juicy. All right, I just sent her a video of this girl fight that happened after opening day at the
No,
races
that is
there.
mean. That's
Watch this. It's
mean.
about to go on right here.
No, it was mean. He got mean and cold, and I was just like, "This is such an overreaction and so unnecessary." But I caused it, so I did say, "Hey, I'm very sorry for what I did." He was so mad, he didn't even hear that I apologized because I apologized to him right away, and he's like, "Oh, you're finally apologizing. I appreciate that." I was like, "No, this is like my fifth apology." Anyways, I also wanted an apology because I felt his reaction was much bigger than it should have been. And he didn't apologize yesterday. And then this morning, he comes over and gives me a kiss and is just like, let's have a good day today. And I took that as very dismissive. Like, I don't want to hear about any of your negative emotions. I don't want any of your negative bullshit coming up today. We're going to have a good day. And I was like, well, that's very dismissive of my feelings. And I still haven't gotten an apology.
I mean, guys, it's a handful, right? Like seriously.
No. Can you imagine? Can
Uh,
you imagine that
I
walk?
do want to. I do want to point out one thing on the walk though. The dog Scout is right here, scared of the water. We're kind of walking in the water, so she's over here. She's got one of those nose things on her nose, and so she's definitely walking over here. But Danielle is walking like right next to the dog, and is getting mad that the dog keeps running into her.
Well,
And
no.
all I said was, "Why don't you move? The dog's not gonna change her path."
No, that's not how it went. And then I was like trying to move. I walk further away from the dog. If I walk further away from the dog, I'm 6 feet away from Brian. So there's zero conversation we could have. And then I
That
tried.
was by design.
And then
At that point, that was completely by
And
design.
then I tried
How
to-
about we not talk for the rest of this little
And
walk?
then I tried to walk next to Brian. And he's like, I want to walk on this part of the sand. I want to walk in this solid sand. And then he kept running me off the road. So it wasn't me being ridiculous.
So you understand, like, even if you both apologize and confess that you've both done something wrong, there's still an underlying situation.
No, I'm not upset. I'm just relaying the facts for the listeners.
Okay, I'd like to relay the fact that you don't walk in a straight line. All right,
I have scoliosis. My spine is crooked.
As I walk, you keep pushing me here, and then you go back here, and I'm like, it's soft sand, hard sand, soft
Okay,
sand.
whoa,
And
no
I'm
one
like
cares.
going, whoa, and the dog's over here, and I'm just like, I just want to walk this path.
You're just so innocent.
I'm so innocent. I'm so innocent. Yeah, the dog's a pain in the ass to walk with. Yes. Um,
Well,
But-
that being said, I was trying to say that it was hard to be kind to you last night because when I tried to apologize to you, you weren't having it and you were very much wrapped up in your own anger. But it was much easier to make up with you this morning because you were actually honest and vulnerable with me. And instead of saying, I'm not stressed out, you're the only thing that stresses me out. That's a common thing that you say to me. But for you to admit, I was feeling stressed yesterday. It was a big day, and I felt like I had finally made it through, and then that little stressor was the straw that broke the camel's back. I think it's like letting your partner in on when you are feeling vulnerable and you are feeling a little bit more sensitive, instead of blaming it all on them, just letting them know, yeah, that is the truth of how I was feeling.
and I did it twice. So I did that today when she was like upset that I was being dismissive, and I was like, hey, I wanted that to be a relaxing time. I'd done so many fucking things during the day, kids, businesses, this. I just wanted to decompress and enjoy my time with you, right? And it just wasn't the best time to talk about some situations that you wanted to talk about. And then what happened once we did talk about those things is I did say the reason that I wasn't so into talking about those right now is because I'd already put a ton of thought into what was going on. And you said just communication would have helped me, knowing that you had already thought through these problems and you were already like justifying why you might have changed my mind a little bit from what we had discussed in some of this situation. And I was just like, yeah, this seemed to be going good. It seemed to be this. I did this. I decided this. And so, I mean, we did resolve that. But it is when I do get that really deep emotion, I have a hard time getting out of it.
I understand that. I understand not wanting to have confrontation, but that is the stuff that bugs me because I'm sitting there feeling hurt and upset, and he's too scared to even come into the bathroom. And then he does come in, and he's kind of mean. He like blames me for losing his dog kid or whatever it is. But
Are we over this yet? Yeah. No, I was like, where's my dog kid? Yeah.
Yeah, and then you're like, "Oh, it's because I didn't pack it because you kept telling me you weren't done with the toothpaste yet."
Yeah, you did. You kept going, "No,
No,
just wait. I'm gonna use the
yeah,
toothpaste.
no,
I'm gonna use the toothpaste."
I packed
And
up the
then, yeah, you the only thing
toothpaste.
that made it home was the fucking toothpaste. That is true. Okay, so but you did
No,
start
I
this
had
whole
a
thing, but how so this is just once we got home. So we kind of had these issues on and off during the entire vacation.
it's exhausting, but I was going to before we got all distracted there. The example I was going to give is how this could have not turned into a fight last night. It could have not turned into a fight if I was triggered because the issue I brought up was kind of something Brian and I had talked about. We had agreed on something, and then that thing didn't go according to the way we discussed, and he never updated me on it. And so I was feeling triggered by that. And instead of listening to Brian when he said he didn't want to talk about it right now, I let the trigger get the best of me. And I was like, no, I want to address this right now, basically. And so because I wasn't able to sit with my own trigger and put it aside, that led to me bringing up something I shouldn't have brought up. And then this is where it takes two to tango. So that was my part. And then Brian, if Brian had been able to react and see, okay, she's getting triggered right now, but this isn't what the conversation that I want to have. And I don't need to take this as something to make me angry. I can kind of, just deal with this in another way. He could have said, hey, I hear you. I hear your frustration, but I've actually given this a lot of thought, and this is why I made this decision. And he could have held his ground, and then it wouldn't have turned into a fight where we were yelling at each other. So each of us,
We
and
never yelled at each other.
whatever, but where we are weren't speaking to each other.
Yes. We're not a yell couple.
No.
We're a silent couple.
Each of us had an opportunity to stop this from progressing into being something, and both of us kind of blew that opportunity. Moving forward, we both know that we don't want to get into these little fights over these small things that drain us both immensely. And I think it's important that we both remember our power. If one of us gets triggered, we have to do our best to not allow the trigger to hijack the situation. And if one of us can stay grounded in that moment, we can stop it from progressing.
So, could we get a chart, a dry erase board
Okay.
on the wall, and tally up who stayed grounded? Like, no, I'm just saying, like, wouldn't that be cool? Like if you're like totally kicking ass, like Brian, you keep losing control, but I stayed grounded. And we
Yeah,
didn't have
I'd
a
love
fight,
to have that dry erase board.
right? And then we would keep track
Yeah.
because in fights, that's what it is most of the time is keeping score, right?
Yeah.
I'd like to know how I'm doing. I'd like go, oh look, I stay grounded. I was the kid that if you put a star on my
Yeah.
paper in
You are
school,
that kind of kid.
I am like I need the star. I love the pat on the back.
I know you do.
Okay, so if I had that dry erase board, I'd be like, oh no, you're not getting me, bitch. I'll be like, hold on, Brian. Keep grounded. Stay grounded, because you're gonna get that fucking star. That could be good. That's
I
maybe
mean,
what we want.
we did talk about how, fights
Star
are
chart.
lose.
Yeah.
You're not trying to win against your partner, but this could be different.
It could be. It's a good win.
Yeah.
So we did have these, but you started the whole podcast with the idea of how do you deal with this on vacation? Because let me tell you something. Here at the house, when we weren't getting along, I could stay downstairs in my office. I could go hang out in the garage with my son. I could get to a different part of the house. But on vacation, in the same hotel room for like 4 days, and then on the road, and then traveling, we were on the week, we were like connected side by side. There was no place to hide.
No.
And these things came up a little bit on the road too.
Yeah, and we're like, maybe that's part of it, and that we could use a little bit of space because we've been glued at the hip for a while. There were times in my mind that I was like, should I just fly home? Should I send his daughter out here in my place and just fly home?
When was that?
When we were on the paddle boards.
That brings up something that I want to discuss is that we did say, how about when we get home, we don't hang out for a couple days? Like, I love you so much, but like, I've seen so much of you over the last week. It's breakfast, lunch,
Yeah,
dinner.
like 5
You can
minutes
hear-
into that
you
walk,
can hear
I
me
was
pee
like-
in the middle of the night. You can hear me fart in the morning. Okay, like we've been close. When you're on the road like that, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, we're together a lot even at home because we work together. Neither of us go into an office. And then last night I probably should have gone on a walk alone and I didn't. But I think it worked out because I think that we needed to have a real conversation about kind of this headbutting.
Man, you know how much you love just to have these conversations. They're so
Well,
much
I'm
fun.
like, I don't mind fighting if I feel like the fight has allowed us to learn something and grow in some way. If all that like little nitpicking we did allowed us to learn how to stay grounded more often and not let things fester and blow up, then all that fighting was worth it. If we don't get to the root cause of the lesson and we never learn anything from it, I'm like, that was such a waste of energy. So to me, today and this podcast even is feeling like, okay, the hardships we went through have led us to kind of have a greater understanding of each
Should
other,
we
and they're
pay
worth
the
it.
listeners to be our therapist today? We owe you all some money for listening to this podcast today. One thing before we wrap this up,
Wait, but we didn't finish about what to do when you can't stand your partner on vacation.
just go for a run. Go get some fresh air.
Yeah.
Do something different. Go have coffee. Go read a book. Go sit by the pool. Go do anything.
But I think it's also to remember, like, okay, we're here. This is like our special time together. I think people do fight on vacation more often. You put a lot of pressure on each other. This is our time away. This is our special time. It needs to be perfect. And so when your partner does something that upsets you, I think it can feel like even more threatening or even more
Like
of a
gets
sting.
too drunk at dinner and
Yeah.
gets too loud and
Yeah. Maybe this is our one vacation of the year. You know, you're ruining this precious time we have together. And so it's like a more explosive opportunity for fights because it feels like there's more at stake. And I think not putting so much pressure on yourself, just being like, hey, this is when we're finally away from all the stresses at home, sometimes shit's going to come up. But to remember, like, I love this person and we're here to celebrate our time together. So if shit does come up, let's make it a lose-lose.
lose lose. A
Yeah.
lose lose. That's the name of the podcast.
How-
It's
yeah.
a lose lose. In order to win, you got to lose lose.
Yeah. So
Y'all got to like bow down a little bit and go, I fucked up. I fucked up too, right? Because it will end if you both say I'm sorry. I
And
fucked
mean
up
it.
and mean it. You have to mean it.
yeah.
And that's it. Lose lose. That's the moral of the story. Lose lose. One thing I was doing wrong a week and a half ago that I realized, and you told me to journal, and it came out in my journal, and I should journal more because it's amazing how much stuff comes out when I do journal. And the journaling that she told me to do is like, don't even think about a subject, just start writing. And you often start writing about like, oh fucking Harley, god damn it, like this sounded like I didn't even know fuck this, and then all of a sudden going, gosh, maybe I should do this, and then she wouldn't be fucking Harley, and she'd be like, oh, I love you, Harley, and like all of a sudden I was like, what the fuck just happened? This pen, I can't control my hand, I can't control my pen. It's saying nice things again, you fucking asshole. But what I did was, when you are kind of in a relationship, you've been in a relationship now for like 3 years, 4 years, 100 years,
Almost 4.
4 years. We're not all the same person. And so my parents, my mom, my stepfather and stuff were very efficient, very like you didn't ask stupid questions. You did this, you're ready on time, you did this, you did that. And Danielle just every once in a while does things that were just different than what I was raised, right? It doesn't make them right or wrong or anything. It's just who she is and what she does. But I have this conceived idea. I'm like, what the fuck? That's so stupid. Or like, what are you doing? You're wasting time. Or like, what is this? And I'm like, love. And I was doing that. I was like, love. Oh, love. Love, 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 love. And it was not meaning because I love you. It was meaning like, hey, fucking dumbass. Like, and it sounds like, hey, dumbass. But I was like going, how am I using the most sacred word in a relationship, love, in kind of a derogatory asshole way? And in my journal, I was like going, oh, I can't do that anymore, right? And so thankfully I have not been doing that anymore, because like you're like shaking your head at somebody going, oh, love, like what were you thinking? Oh, love, you're not very smart. I realized that all those times I was doing it was just because I expected an outcome that I had been preconditioned on.
One of our little fights was because I was like, I just feel like you have no patience with me sometimes. We walked out to lunch and I was like, well, should we sit there or should we sit there? He's like, I don't know, just make a decision, kind of thing. Little things like that. Or I'm like, oh shoot, I left my sunscreen. Should I go get it now or later? It's going to take you 2 seconds to be just like, oh, just go grab it now. Or I'd rather sit in the sun. But instead he gets mad at me for like asking questions that he perceives as wasting time.
She goes, should I go grab the sunscreen? I go, no, the UV is way down. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, right?
Yeah.
And then I see that she's not sold on that. She's like, I was like, I don't fucking care. Go get the fucking sunscreen.
Could you just have a little more patience?
So again,
But then, and then also having compassion for your partner, being like, oh, I do remember what his childhood was like and who he was raised by, and nobody ever had any patience for him.
Well,
And
you
so,
fucking burned. You forgot your fucking sunscreen. You did not go back and get it. You're going to burn so you don't fucking forget it next time.
yeah. And then just being like, okay, he's this way with me because he's this way with himself, and nobody's ever been patient with him. So it's not a reflection of,
That's a big ask. That's a lot. If you did really process that far, that's a beautiful thing.
well, I did, but I was still mad at you.
It was. It was like I said this table, and you're like, or that table over there. And I was like, okay, then that fucking table. I don't care.
But he gets mad.
I get annoyed that you don't ask the question. You know what? Don't ask me the question. If you want that table, go, oh no, I want this one. That would just make my life
I
so
know,
much
but sometimes I need somebody to bounce an idea off of. You don't want to fight with your partner.
No.
Yeah.
And by going love, love, love. Don't use love ever in a negative way when you're mad at somebody. You can say like, yo, dipshit. No, I mean, you probably shouldn't do that one either. I think it is. It's that patience. What's going to happen if a few seconds get lost here? What's going to happen? A few seconds lost here can be minutes, hours, days of anger in the future when your partner is upset with you for the way you handled the seconds. That was good.
Yeah, that's good. That's true.
Yeah, if you handle the seconds better, the hours and the days get better too.
It's true. The smallest things, I think, especially when you've been in a relationship for a long time, it really is the smallest things that keep you connected. Your partner always being kind and loving towards you. Those are the couples that have a lot more sex because all day long you're like, oh, my partner's on my team. They're kind and loving towards me. They're making jokes with me. This is somebody that I do want to feel more connected to. Or if your partner is doing the opposite and they're not doing anything big that's bad, but they're just kind of picking at you and like, oh, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Why did you ask me that question? Those little tiny moments over time create these bigger resentments and these bigger gaps. And you're like, well, I don't really want to be more intimate with you.
One time on the road recently, we did just have sex. Going, all right, we're not fucking getting along, but let's just have some sex. And it wasn't like, oh, I love you so much. Sex was like, let's fuck. And you know what? We did feel better after it.
Yeah.
Like, like you don't deserve it and I don't deserve it, but we're fucking gonna do it because we both need to fucking relax. And it did take a little steam off.
It does. But wouldn't it be nice?
It would, yeah. Yeah.
If you, yeah.
That's all we
Yeah,
got.
I think that is, lose-lose situations.
Lose. And if you
And
can't, just fuck yourself out of it.
and pay attention to the seconds because
Seconds
they
make
add
up the days
to the
and the
hours.
minutes. Yes. So good.
Yeah.
Love it.